It was supposed to be a celebration. The end of midterms. The beginning of spring break. Just another night out with friends. But by the time the sun came up, one man had vanished, without a trace. And to this day, no one knows how or why. This is the story of Brian Shaffer, the man who walked into a bar and never walked out. Please don't fail to give us a like, comment, and subscribe to this channel for more because it means a lot to us. The night it all began. Brian Shaffer was a 27-year-old medical student at Ohio State University. Smart, funny, charming. He had dreams of becoming a doctor, maybe even starting a band on the side. Life was good, despite one shadow hanging over him. Just weeks earlier, Brian had lost his mother to cancer. It hit him hard, but to his friends, he was handling it with strength, at least on the outside. On the night of March 31, 2006, Brian decided to go out with his friend Clint. It was a Friday. They were ready to unwind. They started at a few campus bars, sharing drinks and laughs. Then, around 1:15 a.m., they ended up at a place called the Ugly Tuna Saloona, a quirky bar on the second floor of a mall-style complex. Security cameras captured them riding the escalator up. Brian, in a short-sleeved green shirt, jeans, and white sneakers, looked relaxed as he walked inside. That was the last confirmed sighting of him ever. According to Clint, they had a couple more drinks inside. Brian briefly stepped away to talk to two young women near the entrance. Then, he disappeared. Clint assumed Brian had gone home without saying anything. Not unusual after a long night out. But the next morning, when Brian didn't respond to texts or calls, and then didn't show up for a planned trip to Miami with his girlfriend, panic set in. His phone went straight to voicemail. His car was still in the garage. No one had heard from him. No one had seen him. Police immediately focused on the bar. They reviewed every second of security footage from the Ugly Tuna. There was only one public entrance, covered by a surveillance camera. It clearly showed Brian walking in, but it never showed him coming out. Not through the front. Not through any staff exits. Not through the fire escape. It was like he had vanished into thin air. Authorities searched the entire bar, the surrounding buildings, rooftops, dumpsters, alleyways. Nothing. Not a single clue. No blood. No struggle. No broken glass. No signs of foul play. Police questioned everyone Brian had been with that night. His friend Clint was cooperative, at first. But when police asked him to take a polygraph test, he refused. Twice. He also stopped talking to the Shaffer family altogether. His explanation. His lawyer advised him not to say anything more. Suspicious, maybe, but not illegal. Brian's girlfriend was devastated. She called his phone every day for months. It always went to voicemail, until one day it rang. It was only once. No one answered, but the call pinged a cell tower 14 miles away. Police traced it to a cell company glitch, possibly a delayed signal or a tower bounce, or something else. In the years since Brian's disappearance, dozens of theories have surfaced. Some believe he left on purpose, grieving the death of his mother, overwhelmed by med school. Maybe he faked his disappearance and started a new life somewhere. But Brian had booked a trip with his girlfriend. He was close to his father and brother. He had plans, dreams, a future. Others believe he was murdered inside the bar, and his body was hidden, perhaps in the building or taken out in a container. But police searched every inch of the property, with cadaver dogs, with heat sensors. Nothing. Another theory. Brian was attacked after leaving through an unmonitored exit, like a service door or back alley. Maybe the camera missed it. Maybe someone inside knew how to avoid detection. But no witnesses ever came forward, and no evidence was ever found. Brian's father, Randy Shaffer, never gave up. He posted flyers, spoke with the media, searched cities and forests for any sign of his son. In 2008, tragedy struck again. Randy died in a freak accident. A tree fell during a windstorm and crushed him outside his home. At his memorial service, someone left a message in the guest book online. "Dad, I love you. Brian. Police traced it to a public computer in Columbus. A cruel hoax. Another dead end. In 2020, an online post went viral. It featured a photo of a homeless man in Mexico who bore a strong resemblance to Brian. Could it be him? The FBI ran facial recognition software. It wasn't a match, but the renewed attention brought the case back into the spotlight. And with it, more questions than answers. So, what really happened to Brian Shaffer? How does a man vanish from a bar, in a building filled with people and cameras? Did he walk away from his life? Was he taken? Or did something darker happen behind the scenes? Almost 2 decades later, no one knows for sure. Brian Shaffer remains on the FBI's missing persons list. A $100,000 reward is still offered for information. And yet, there's still no trace of the man who walked into the ugly tuna and never walked out. Maybe one day, the truth will surface. Until then, the case remains a haunting reminder of how fast someone can disappear, even when the whole world is watching. What do you think happened to Brian Shaffer? Drop your theory in the comments below. And if you found this story as chilling as we did, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more unsolved mysteries and real-life stories that will leave you speechless.